or win you a game. You know, you flipping field, taking advantage of flipping the field, getting a block punt. I'll be honest with you, we just lost a playoff game in the semifinals this year, and it came down to a couple of different things, but, first time since, I've been there that we've had a punt block for a touchdown. And we end up losing by 7 points. Again, special teams, something I'm very passionate about. We're going to go through all the many phases of special teams. I'm going to talk about how, you can incorporate that, with a small coaching staff or a large one. And I'll be honest with you, and Coach Brad can attest to this, there was one point in time where, we coached together. There were times where we were the only two coaches that practiced with 55 kids. So we had to come up with some clever ways to kind of implement all of our players into our special teams dynamic. So, and as you'll learn, early on when I go through the slides, I want everybody to learn about special teams. I say big pads matter. I tell my big boys all the time, don't think because you're 300 pounds, you're not going to get on this kickoff drill. I tell them all the time, we're going to use it as a conditioning phase. We're going to teach some tackling. We're going to teach some technique. We're going to make them better football players through special teams. It's basically what it boils down to. It doesn't matter if they're a receiver. It doesn't matter if they're just a kicker, if they're, a 5-star receiver. You're going to get out here and you're going to play some special teams. We want to use the most talented kids in all phases of the game. One quote, as you'll learn, I went to Wesley College, played for the great late Mike Drass, and he always told us, man, it's 1/3 of the game. 1/3 of the game. So I tell my kids all the time, let it be something you're excited about. So, coaches, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. I'm gonna go through some things that I do during the season. Let me get that started. All right. All right. So basically, with special teams, how important is winning to you? It boils down directly to that, because if you don't put enough emphasis in your special teams, you're going to end up losing the game at one point in time, or it's going to be a lot closer game than it should be. As you see there, special teams matters. It truly does, because one, it's a way of implementing younger players and athletes, showing them how to get on the field. It's a way of, putting the team in an awkward situation, making them one-way dynamic. If it's a team that they want to spread the ball out, we're going to try to pin them deep and make them go the whole length of the field. If they're a power team, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use our athletic advantage at my school, because we got a lot of superb athletes. We're going to use our athletic advantage to make sure that we can, use special teams to our advantage. All right. So a little bit about myself. My name's Ennis. Been coaching high school football now. This year coming up, will be my 13th year total as a high school coach. I've been the defensive coordinator and special teams coordinator for 12 of those 13 years. Out of those 13 years, I spent 3 as a head coach at Lower High School, where I was also the defensive coordinator and special team guy. My first year back after I was not a head coach anymore, I flipped over to the offensive side and helped out there, and I was the run game coordinator. Played 4 years at Wesley College, played linebacker, 2-year starter. We were 2-time national semifinalists. D3, we'll say we're D3 powerhouse, like my boy Soft said, in the first video. Some really good football there, but I'll be honest with you, I think my love for special teams came from Wesley College, 100%. We had a special team coordinator, Sean Plews, and he was adamant and fired up every day about special teams. We practiced special teams in a 3-hour practice every day for over an hour. And I'm not exaggerating, not one bit. And I mean, it was to the point where we would get to the defensive side of the ball and our guys were exhausted, which is great because, we won a lot of games on special teams. Wesley has three players that are top 5 in the country in all divisions in return yards, return touchdowns, and all almost every statistical category. As far as kickoff, when I played at Wesley, we were top 5 in every special teams category. All right, so be honest with you, this is what I tell my kids every day, our coaches as a staff. You know, they probably get sick of hearing it because I press special teams all the time. Again, Coach Brad coached with me for 3 years. He knows that I get fired up when it comes to special teams. You know, it's super important. So, hey, 1/3 of the game, you know, and it's just as important as offense and defense. You've got to prepare for special teams just like you normally would an offensive and defensive strategy. You got to create a culture. You've got to have your kids want to be on the special team. You can't put kids out there that, you know, they're going to jog down for you on kickoff. They're not going to tackle well. They're not looking forward to it. You've got to be creative and make it fun for your kids to get out on the football field. You know, it's also a great way to use your younger players, give those starters a break if you need to. But also, you know, like for us, we use starters. You know. A great way of also doing that is, like I said at the bottom, providing a weekly breakdown and scouting report for your kids, and also doing film study. We did special teams film study once a week, every week. You know, we always watch film on special teams. All right, so we're going to start out with the bread and butter, the hot sauce, you know, of special teams. Kickoff. Kickoff is my baby. It's something that is near and dear to my heart. You know, and it is something that I believe when you start a game, it's the tone setter. There's nothing better, you know, than being a rivalry game. The stands are packed and the game is ready to start off and your team's on kickoff. All right. So, you know, this is something that, you know, we really like, we talk about using it to our advantage. So kickoff, I number them 1 through 5, and I give them names to symbolize what I want them to do. So my 1s and 2s are pretty much, like it says, wall busters. They're going to be my bigger, stronger kids. They're going to be the ones running straight down through, busting up the wall, knocking people's face off. I'm talking about my starting middle linebacker. He's always my 1 or 2. Number 3s, they're our hot guys. They're free to the ball. You know, they're probably some of our best tacklers, some of our best athletes, but we call them NBKs. Natural born killers. They're people that I'm just going to turn them loose. I'm not giving them any responsibility. I'm telling them to go be a heat-seeking missile and go find the football. My 4s and 5s, you know, I call them the slingers because we do a loop in motion, and that's kind of how we number our kickoff guys. So basically, what I do is we use kickoff as a full team conditioning.
Hey, Coach.
Conditioning. Yes, sir.
Hey, just a question real quick, just to clarify in case anybody's confused. When you say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, how are you counting? Are you counting?
I apologize. So we count from the ball out. All right. So we count from the ball out. So 1s are closest to the kicker, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. I apologize. Now my 4 and 5, they're switching, as you'll see in the next video. They're going to switch. So your 4 will technically be your 5, and your 5 will technically be your 4. That gives the looping motion and the illusion, okay, that we're running away from the kickoff return. Actually frees a lot of guys up. Because we all know sometimes, you know, most special team guys, we number our kickoff return guys where we want them to block, who we want them to block. So we do a lot of sweeping in loops. So basically, what we do is we make this a full team conditioning, especially the first day. All right. So if you look here, this is basically what you're going to see when we're on kickoff. So our 1s and 2s are straight ahead. Our 3s are hot to the ball, and our 4s and 5s are looping. All right. So you're going to get a 1, 2, 3. And like I said, your 5 and 4, basically they're swapped because that's where they're going to end up in their rush. All right. What I do is, you know, like I said, I count my kids. My 1, 2, 3s, my 1, 2, and 5s are usually my bigger guys. How do I go back here? Uh-oh, I'm messing up. Apologize, fellas. Hitting the button, getting fired up. So my 1s and 2s, like I said, they're gonna be my bigger guys. Like I said, I'll put big D linemen in there. If I got a team that's constantly setting up a middle wedge, I'll take my big 6'2" DN and I'll make him a 1 or a 2. 3s are usually my outside linebackers, my rovers, my rock guys who have some speed, who can just flat out haul tail downfield and make a big tackle. 4s and 5s are more of my finesse guys, good tacklers, but I need them to cover some space. So I line up, like I said, every kid is going to be on this drill. So especially during camp, they hate it. So we line up in 10 lines, and we just work on kicking off and running down to our expansion point. We're sprinting for 15, we're throttling for 5. Through that throttle or buzz, we're working on our technique of locating the ball carrier, and then we're full out sprint to make the tackle. So it's a 3 whistle phase. First whistle, we're sprinting. Second whistle, we're buzzing and driving our feet. Our feet are nonstop. And that third whistle, we're angle tackling to the ball. We're all dipping and ripping and getting to the ball. All right. So to penetrate through blocks, we're telling our guys they got to have a dip and rip technique. If you see me here, when I'm talking about dip and rip, I'm talking about driving through the block, going from our butt cheek with our fist, driving all the way up to our face cheek, and that's how we defeat the block there. So we teach our kids dip and rip. So what we'll do is we'll put guys on kickoff return with arm shields, with handbags, and we'll work on full sprint, busting through them with a dip and rip technique, reaching, trying to swipe grass. We'll tell them to try to swipe grass and defeat the block. We never square anybody up on kickoff. All right. So again, we use 10 lanes with everybody. You know, it's our camp style, we call it. And we always tell the kids, big pads matter. Even the big boys are on kickoff during camp. Now, when we get to in season, I send the big boys down there to do, while we're doing kickoff and kickoff return, they're usually doing PAT blocks. But when you're with anything with special teams, you want to make sure you have explicit and detailed instruction. One of my college teammates did a video a couple of weeks ago, and he's 100% right. You never want to guess. You never want to guess what your kids know. Even if they played for you before, you want to be a stickler for detail. You want to, every step, every motion, you don't want to lose any time on your special team. You want to make sure that you have constant rotation on this, constant speed rotations. You don't want that lack of depth of time for kids to start, kind of hanging around, shooting water balls and that kind of stuff. You want to have a multiple return man system, hand shields used for your dip and rip. And like I said, constant rotation with your kickoff and your guys with the hand shields. I'm going to actually show you guys how it's supposed to go as well. So here we use a couple of different type of kicks depending on the team. Again, we scout every team on kick return when it's in every special team. So we'll use a variation of our float kick, a drive, which we're just flat out trying to kick it in the end zone, our squib, our drag kick, or our onside kick. We'll use all of those in order to, better gain an advantage to get into the ball. And we've used them all. I've onside kicked opening kickoffs. We've squib kicked them off a kid's chest, opening kickoff, and got it back. Like I said, this is the tone setter. Don't be afraid, to get out there and, use it to your advantage. All right. So if you look here, so this is basically how we set up kickoff. All right. So the kickoff guys are the guys in red, right? So guys here in red. So, we've got, just imagine there's 10 lines here. Okay. This is just a little broken down to how, explain it to the kids, because I actually show the kids this. So what we do is like I said, we do our normal check. We have a kicker in the back. He goes to kick. Our guys sprint. They shuffle to the cone. Then they turn and sprint for 15 to 20 yards. Once they get to their expansion point, which is the guy who's trying to block them, here, I'll blow the whistle again to dip and rip and then buzz here. So we also bring out our big red pads. Okay, we bring out our big red pads. So when we dip and rip, we buzz our feet and we sprint to make the tackle or to flow to the ball. We hit pads. I want this to be a tackling drill as well. We hit wrap and roll here. We hit wrap and roll. So kids get used to running on the fly, and they're not, they don't have dead feet when they get to the ball carrier. We want to always be in attack mode. Okay, when we run down on kickoff, boom, we want to hear somebody get popped. I want to see somebody get dropped on their back. I want the crowd to go crazy, but we want our kids to be prepared for that. We don't want it just to happen by chance. We want it to be already instilled and ingrained in them that, hey, I need to blow this kid up. My body's never not moving. All right. So this is basically how it's diagrammed up. What kids will do is they'll sprint down, dip and rip, buzz, wrap and roll on the pad. They'll jump up. This kid has dropped the pad. They'll sprint, grab the pad, and the next guy's ready to go. It's a constant rotation. It's nonstop. It's nonstop. I can do this drill with 50 kids, I lie to you not, in a matter of probably about 7 minutes. And after that 7 minutes, everybody's gassed because it's nonstop. It's nonstop. All right. So what we also incorporate in this as well with our return men. So these guys in the blue are coaches. All right. So coaches. So because, okay, I just don't like at the beginning the variation of different kicks because, you know, you got kickers that kick out of bounds and all those things. We actually have coaches or other kids or other return men with footballs. So when they hear that second whistle, they throw the ball up in the air, end over end, on an angle, and these guys catch the ball and they sprint up the lane through their lane. Okay, up the lane to their cone. Excuse me. Okay, so these guys are constantly catching balls, sprinting while the rest of the team is running down, dipping and ripping, buzzing, and making tackles. So that's a full-on conditioning drill, a special team drill knocked out, a tackling drill knocked out, and a return drill knocked out, all in one phase. That's all in one phase. Like I said, 7 minutes. Intense 7 minutes, 50 kids getting after it. After that, you're going to have to give them a water break. All right. So, again, I coached a couple of years. You know, I've coached 13 years, and, you know, I've coached a couple of years down at Laurel High School. And, you know, we had a couple of kids, you know, who they just got it. They were mean. They were dogs. You know, Coach, like I said, Coach Brad can attest to this. These kids gave us all they had on every special team. I mean, we used to do squib kicks, everything, just because I knew if the ball was on the ground, that kid was looking down and he was fearing where 4 and 10 was. They were my NBKs, like I call them, natural born killers, right? So we got 1, 2, my threes are here, and they're moving. As soon as the kicker hits that line, they're in a full sprint. They're in a full sprint. So I'm gonna play this video for you, but I can't find my play button. All right, here we go. All right. So I won't let me play the video. I apologize, guys. I've got it. So I'll play it at the end. I apologize. Again, this is them as well, running down on kickoff. We played this team my first year. We actually had 3 turnovers this night just on kickoff. We got the ball back 3 times this night with squib kicks on kickoff. All right, so let's go to our next phase here, which is going to be kick return. All right, so kick return, we're going to set it up just kind of like we did with kickoff. So again, we're going to incorporate one special team with another. So kickoff return is going to be set up the same exact way as we would kind of set up our kickoff team. We're going to label kids just like we normally would. You know, you got your front line. We call those guys the swinging wall. You know, they all drop on an angle and shield our 9 guys off. We have our wingman, which is kind of like a tight end. Our tight ends in the kickoff return. We have what's called a diamond, where we take 4 guys and we put them in the diamond, and they are the diamond return. So they're our full package guys, the front guys, the fullback, 2 halfbacks or wings on the side, and then our diamond, he's in the back. He's our guy that's got the juice. He's the guy he's going to take it to the house if he touches the rock. You know, we put him in the back so he can move. There's a lot of different ways to do kickoff return, but I'll be honest with you, this diamond look is probably the best I've seen because it gives us the best potential to take it to the house. We can do a middle return. We can return it to each sideline if we need to. It's definitely one of those things where, you know, we're able to do a lot of different things here. So in our diamond look here, all right, in our diamond look here, we're numbers, and honestly with you, it's set up to where it's simple. You know, it's very simple. Numbering wise, we're all odd up front. You know, the kids know if I'm up front, I've got an odd number if we're going to the left or to the right. So we count away from where we're going. All right, we count away from where we're going. So if we want to go to the right, we're going to start our numbers from the left all the way over. You know, we're just simply going to give our kids the best opportunity to get to the numbers and get up the numbers. All right. So I tell my return man, hey, if we're returning to our right or to our left, I tell them catch the ball, get to the hash, and find the numbers. Okay, because those 9 times out of 10 where the lane's going to be. Like I said, odd here, even here. I never account for the kicker. I tell my guy, if you get caught by the kicker, that's on you. I tell him if you get caught by the kicker, that's on you. Middle return, same thing. We're going to keep the numbers. You know, kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, and none of our kids are stupid. I don't like to call kids stupid. I don't want to guess what they know, you know, because I'll be honest with you, if a kid doesn't know, that I feel that's a reflection on me as a coach. I want my kids to know everything possible. I want to make sure they're ultimately prepared, you know, to play the best of their ability. I want to create opportunity for all my kids. So middle wedge here, same thing. We're trying to create a tunnel, and we're trying to get up the field here. So nothing changes. It's just the way we drop is going to change. The way we drop is going to change. You know, so you know, just figuring out for our kids what is the best way of getting them to the promised land. All right. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yep, you're good, Coach. Trying to show some Larry Beaver's highlights.
Yeah, so I'm going to show one of my college teammates. Some of you guys have probably already heard of him. Kid ran a 4.28, but I'll be honest with you, he was the best, probably return man ever. He's number. I think now he's number 2. What is going on? I apologize, Coach. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. But he led the nation in kick returns, led the nation in kick return yards. You know, it was great to watch. I played on special teams with him for 3 years. And, you know, I took most of all our special teams from Wesley College. So you have the swinging wall here. You have the diamond in the back. And he's getting to the numbers and getting up the numbers and creating a lane, creating a scene. He was the best at just basically finding a lane, you know, finding a lane, finding some blockers and finding a lane. Again, swinging door here. Boom, see the swinging gate, get him going one way, bring it all the way over. I mean, he was fast. Now, again, this is demoralizing to a team. Demoralizing to a team. You know, you start a game off, you know, opening game off with, you know, a touchdown or, you know, a daggone 50-yard return, then, you know, you're good. You're good here. All right, so here we go. Kick return drills here, okay? Kickoff return drills here. So the same exact thing, okay? We're doing the same exact thing as we did with kickoff. Now, you can use hand shields or you cannot use hand shields. But what I basically do is I set it up the same way, okay? I have guys that are running down on kickoff. They're running down on kickoff. What the heck is going on? Sorry, guys, having technical difficulties. Coach, he's not good with computers tonight.
All good, Coach. All good. And 2 soccer games you coached before this wore you out. So
yeah, driving me nuts. These little kids driving me nuts. They were asking me 1,000 questions about nothing. Asking me about popsicles and all that kind of stuff. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't think so, Coach. I think we're good. I think when they have them, they'll field them through the chat, and I'll let you know.
All right. I'm sorry. For some reason, I'm clicking on it and it won't pop up. All right. So look, you can look at it from right here. Can everybody still see the screen?
Yep, you're good, Coach.
Okay. All right. So we got guys running down on kickoff, hand shields or no hand shields, and our kick return team, they're basically getting to a 10-yard drop. Our front line. I use extra guys, so you may see me like, Coach, why you got all these guys out on the field? I know you can only play with 11, but I try to maximize our time. So up front, I may have 10 guys in the front line. I want to maximize. I want as many kids to get an opportunity or to get seen as possible. So we're recording this. I got all coaches watching one specific area, watching return men, watching fullbacks, watching guys in the drops. I also got coaches watching guys on kickoff if they're giving us a good look. If they're working hard to get themselves on our kickoff team. So everybody on our front line is basically, dropping for the sake of the drill. They're going to drop to their outside shoulder and swing around. They're going to buzz their feet to square that kickoff guy up, and we're going to run, square him up, and drive him out. We're going to run, square him up, and drive him out. So when we don't have equipment on, I love to use hand shields. Okay, hand shields. Or if we don't have enough hand shields, I'll tell that kickoff guy to give themselves up, which means sprint hard, buzz, let that guy lock onto you and let him drive you out of there, okay? And when those guys drive them out, we're thumbs up, we're to the breastplate, we're turning them like a steering wheel, okay? And we're driving them where we need to drive them, okay? We're driving them where we need to drive them. Again, I use multiple return men. I try to use at least 3 to 4 on every drill. No matter if it's kickoff return, punt return, does not matter. I use as many return men as possible. Again, maximizing our reps, maximize our potential to get seen. Okay. So what I do here is, same exact thing. We throw the ball up to our kids. Okay, end over end, on an angle, on the ground. We'll roll it whole on the ground, watch them field it off the ground. Okay, and we will tell them right or left, and they'll all get to the numbers. We're getting up the numbers here on the side. Middle guy, he's finding the lane, getting to the numbers, getting up to the field, and then we'll rotate again. We'll rotate it over. Again, this is another drill where the whole entire team is doing it. The entire team. There's not one guy that's going to be standing on the sideline or stand over by our trainer or hang around having a snack pack, okay? Everybody's going to get out here and condition. Everybody's going to get out here and get some work in. And again, I apologize for the videos earlier. All right. Another bread and butter.
Don't sweat those videos, man. Nobody's in a rush, man. After you get done your presentation, we can always swing back around and
okay. All right, no problem. Appreciate that, Coach. So punt. So I am again, we punt, we do kickoff, we do kick return, we do everything based on the team that we're playing. We don't do the same thing every week. Now, it may look the same, but I guarantee you there's going to be specific critiques in it just for that team. All right. So again, we're working on controlling the placement of the ball. That is the ultimate opportunity, ultimate goal of me when I'm telling my team to punt. I want to take the field and I want to chop it into 1/3. Okay. I don't want to kick it dead center in the middle, because guess what? You do that, you run into people like Larry Beavers that you just saw. You run into people like Devin Hester. You run into people like, all these like Deshaun Jackson, okay, that end up killing you. So you use punt to your advantage. So I want to put the ball to the numbers. Okay, I always want to punt, in my opinion, always want to punt from the hash out.
Hey, Coach, okay. Got a question. So not to mean to cut you off. Got a question.
No, go right ahead.
Says you may have already mentioned this, but do you use a left, middle, and right return on kick return?
Yes, I do. I apologize because I meant to show you that. I thought it was on there. I'm so sorry. I might have skipped over it. I do a right and a left. Yes, sir.
And I think you showed that on there.
Yep. This one was to the right. And we do the same thing. Like I said, if we're going to the left, just switch the numbers. Count right to left. So yeah, I'm sorry. I just put going to the right. We're going to the right here. So we're going to the right here. So we number 2 where we're going, from 1 all the way to 10, all the way to where we're going.
So basically, whatever blocking schemes you have, you can go from the left or right.
Exactly. Yes, sir. And if we go middle, same thing. See, if we want, I know it says middle, but I usually call middle left or middle right, because I want to create a seam in between 6 and 7 or 4 and 5. You know what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, the kicker's trailing. If we can punch one of these guys out of the way, these guys are already swinging down the outside. Everybody got what I'm saying there? So, we may say middle, but if you go middle, what usually happens? It's a big old pile in the middle, right? So we just want to find a seam. We want to find a seam. We want to create a tunnel inside 6 or 7. All right. So if I said middle left, this would be our 6 and 7, because this guy, we're just going to punch him out of the way. All right. This guy, we're going to let him run free. He thinks he's going. This fullback's going to drop here, and he's going to punch him in the face, and then return guy's going to get right up in that seam. All right. Does that answer everybody's question? You guys good?
I think that's good, Coach. And again, guys, if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to ask. And like I said, I'm going to put the link to the YouTube channel. So if you guys want to go back and review this and look at some of Coach's return schemes, you'll be able to do that.
Yep. And if also too, if they want to send me an email, I can send this to them. And I've got more as well. I didn't put everything on here, but I've got a ton of special team stuff. All right. So this is basically how we set up our punt. Most times, we've got 2 wings, 2 gunners. My gunners are hot to the ball. Sometimes now in this situation, they're going to be on the ball. All right. But if we've got a team, like we had a team a couple of years ago down in Virginia, they would send out 2 guys to lock my gunners up because they were our best tacklers. So what we did was we called heavy, which would make our wings now tight ends. All right. So these guys would basically move up on the line of scrimmage, and then they would take a step back. And you would say, why? Why do we do that? So now that guy can go in motion to get himself released, or he's off the ball, right? So he's got that yard and a half, 2 yards if he needs it. I'll tell him back up 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage to get that space to maneuver, All right. So when we do coverage, when I teach coverage, I tell my kids, if you're on the right, when the ball's kicked, you're going to take 2 steps to your right and then follow your lane. Because I always feel that if you tell them specifically you're inside the hash, you're outside the hash, we get lost. Because then what we do is we lose sight of the return man, and we're looking for an expansion point. So mental prep, I tell them 2 steps to your right, straight ahead. Locate the ball. Okay. Defeat the block, locate the ball. All right. Now, again, we use multiple punt systems. If we're doing our rugby style kick, we're kind of zone running. Okay. We're kind of zone running everybody to the right. Okay. So what we'll do is we're going to pin the ball, like I told you, where? Outside of the hash, we're looking for the numbers, right? Looking for the numbers to the sideline.
Coach, I want to brag on you real quick. I want to tell these guys not to make this a big thing, an anecdote. As Coach has already said, we coached together for 3 years. I'm going to take you guys back to 2016, where Coach, he does an absolutely great job with this rugby style of punting. Mm-hmm. And Coach, you're going to know the game I'm talking about because you're there coaching now.
Yes.
We were playing a school that went undefeated, destroyed everybody, won the state title, and we were trying to figure out how in the world we were going to be able to compete with them. And one of the they had an electrifying punt return. I mean, I don't know how many punt returns he had for a touchdown that year, but it was insane. And we worked practice all week, pinning that ball between the numbers and the sideline. And because we just wanted to limit, because we wanted their offense to beat us, and we wanted to limit their punt returns. And, the game ended up coming down to the last 2 minutes where we were leading, and they finally took the lead to win. But it was an incredible game plan. It was an incredible, and this rugby style of punt was a pivotal part of that game plan to us almost upsetting the undefeated state champs that year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I tell you, when I actually got the rugby style punt from a coach in Virginia at a Glacier clinic, and like when I tell you it was unreal, I mean it was crazy. And what I want to do is, if you guys don't mind, I want to share with you something from my iPad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with you because I think that it's better seen than just hearing me talk about it. So let me share this with you guys real quick. Apologize. Screen here. Zoom. I'm going to share. All right, I'm going to share my this with you real quick. All right, so this is actually the rugby style punt that I'm talking about. Um, so what we do here, all right. So if you're, can you guys see the screen?
Oh yeah, coach, we're good. Let's
All
good.
right. So our fullback here, he's gonna sprint to the outside guy. Okay, he's gonna sprint to the outside guy. And I'll be honest with you, this is our quarterback. He's actually he played with me with Coach Brad at our previous school, and then he came to the school where I was at secondary. So he's been doing this for a couple of years, and it honestly becomes an RPO. So we look dependable. Like I said, numbers are out to the sideline. This guy is running an actual route. So he's going to drive block on this guy and then release, because his eyes are going to do what? When he sees that my quarterback's got the punt and he starts sprinting to the sideline, 9 times out of 10, these guys come up. Now, they saw it on film, so they don't do it, but we actually fake punt it like 5 or 6 times this year, and we get 4 out of the 5. These guys here are doing the same thing. It's all like a zone block. These guys are blocking. Now he's going to release and do like a 10-yard out. All right. So what that does is it gives him the option. Again, he's been doing this for multiple years to either run it, throw it, or at the last second, kick it. So he kicks it here. Also, it gives our guys time to do what? Get downfield. Gives us time to get downfield. That since we incorporated the rugby kick, the years I coached with Coach Ellingsworth and the years I coached at this school, we're under, and I mean under, giving up 10 yards return a game. 9 times out of 10.
I mean, the game we used that I was telling you guys about, there wasn't one time that they returned a punt.
No.
So.
Yeah, it's a great tool. It's a great tool. It's a great tool. So I just want to share that with you guys, and we'll get back to the presentation. I apologize. But we're with punt, we want to flip the field. We legitimately want to we want to flip the field here. All right.
You might have to go back to sharing your PowerPoint.
Yeah. Yep. I got you. I'm doing it right now. Apologize.
Oh, good.
All right. So so here's the drill. So for the sake of the drill, okay, again, we're going to excuse me?
We still got your iPad up there on the screen.
Apologize. Can you guys see me now?
You might have to hit new share. See if you can hit new share and then go to your
all right.
Okay, now we see you. You just got to pull you out.
Yeah. I'm sharing my screen again right now. Apologize.
No,
there we go.
Quit apologizing so much, man. You're all good. It's all good.
Man, you know how I am, man. Stop
I know.
So everybody can see now?
Yep, you're good. We got it.
So again, we're going to incorporate 2 special teams working 1 special team. All right. So we're going to work on our punt formation, our punt special team, but we're going to work on using some of our punt return techniques. So I never, once the season starts, I don't like not using a live rush, but I want it calculated. You understand what I'm saying? I want it to be detailed. I don't want a wild and crazy, out of control rush. I want it to establish skill. I want my guys to be able to work on the techniques that they need to get it done. So again, you guys see how many people are bumping the line, right? I use extra guys for every drill. It's crazy because sometimes in the game, my kid would come up to me. He's like, "Hey, so-and-so wasn't on punt." I was like, "Buddy, he's only there during practice." So I use extra guys. So, our snapper, he's working on his snaps to the punter the whole time. We're working on a 2-point stance in our punt drill. And we're, the first couple, we're just going to work on our squaring up and our kick steps, untouched. Then we're going to add live bodies to it. okay? Because I want my wings to get used to somebody rushing off the edge. I want them to get used to somebody maybe going outside, inside. I want these guys doing the same thing. I'll tell them, hey, we're going right here or we're going left. So these guys are getting working together. They're gonna get working together. So we'll have 2 up backs in there. So this up back will work on, helping this wing or helping on the inside, so forth and so on here. Again, we're working 2 drills for the sake of 1 drill. And this is constant, nonstop. All right. So what we'll do is, we'll snap the ball like we normally do. These guys will work on their block. This side of guys will work on just mauling. So they're just trying to mash these guys inside. These guys are actually working on dipping and ripping and trying to get to the punter. So for the sake of our special teams moving smoothly and moving fluidly, we don't always punt the ball. Now, again, you'll see later on when I work on punt return of why we do this, because these guys will actually block a punt and go set up the wall, and these guys will actually work on mauling. But for the sake of our punt, we work on our lane expansion, okay? We talked about what? Not giving them land points, but I will do it just to tell them where they almost should be, all right? So they work on blocking here. There are 2 steps, as you can see the little hook in it. 2 steps, get upfield, locate the ball. Get upfield, locate the ball. Wings, we're getting deep, creating a pocket like Coach Soft was talking about during his pass pro presentation. We want to create a pocket for the punter as well. He's our quarterback. He's our quarterback of this special team. So we want to make sure he's protected. We want to make sure, we got everything covered up. We want to count numbers. My up back is the most important person in this. This is one of my smarter kids, probably a running back or a linebacker, somebody that I trust to, 1, call the cadence, 2, make sure we have numbers, make sure that we're properly numbered on each side, because we'll move a wing to the other side. We'll take the up back, we'll make him a double wing. We'll do whatever we need to do to make sure this works. We'll go foot to foot up front, or we'll go 2-foot splits, or we'll go 3-foot splits. We'll change it up accordingly to the other team. Does not matter to us. We will change it up. Again, for the sake of the drill, same thing. We have 3 or 4 return men, coaches throwing balls up to them, catching live balls, working the same thing. All right, so this is our rugby concept in a nutshell. All right. So the thing is, once this guy keeps doing it, every once in a while, one of these coaches who thinks they're smarter than the average bear, they'll send that corner on like a hot route. And like I tell my RPO punter, this is his guy to look at right here. If he sees that corner come off the edge, we're popping him right away. We actually did this in a conference championship game 2 years ago. We were down. We actually down. There's 1 minute and 48 seconds left. We ran our RPO, and we stuck it for like a 25-yard game, and it was awesome. It's something that we worked on all season. Hadn't really done it the way we had done it, but it was something that we came up that week and we popped it. What we actually did though, we took the personal protector and we swung him out like kind of like a back screen, and we popped him for a good 20 yards. So again here, zone blocking to the right. These guys are cup blocking or cup or scoop blocking, so they're kind of just keeping somebody hot coming off the edge, somebody fast coming off the edge, running this guy down, and everybody else is zoning to the right. This personal protector is sprinting to the outside guy coming off the edge. He's got a drive or pass option. This guy is blocking and then running a 10-yard out. This punter, he's sprinting, and I tell him, not full sprint, but I tell him, we're sprinting to the numbers, okay? Squaring the ball up and driving it. Squaring the ball up and driving it. Again, if you want this, I'll send it to you. All right, so let's talk about punt return. It's kind of one of those deals where you can make or break the game here. If you got an offense that's struggling, you can give them a spark. If you got a defense that that's tough, you want to flip the field. You want to flip the daggone field, and you want to get some good yards out of it. All right. So again, I use a two platoon concept here, just like we did at Wesley. I've got a side that's doing what we call hold up or maul blocking. So they're blocking down on the guys that we think are hot that make the most tackles. Usually we figure out who's made the most tackles on a team's punt team, and we make sure that guy is we make sure that he's non-existent. We make sure he's non-existent. If you got your best defensive player on punt, guess what? I'm going to make sure I got two guys dragging him to the ground every time. We're going to make sure we get two guys on him and we take him away and make somebody else make a play. All right. So, like I said, two-man concept here. We got usually I've got a 6 front here. If they've got wide guys, I usually keep my corners out. A lot of times I like to give my defense a little bit of a break. So I'll take as many kids as possible that I know can get it done and put them on the punt return team. Now, there are times where if it's a tight game, possible, fake situation, or I'm just not comfortable with taking certain kids out, I will leave my defense out there. We practice both systems. We practice with the starting defense as a punt return, and then I have my 5 or 6 guys that I'll bring out as situational guys. I've got a couple like 6'3", 6'4" kids, and I bring them out, and they're usually what we call is, my wing guys, my wall guys. So these are guys that are rushing the punt. We're going to put pressure. And if anybody's ever coached me, they know I'm a pressure guy. I love bringing pressure up the pipe. We blocked 4 punts last year, scored on one of them. So, any opportunity I can to, kind of put our offense in a better situation, I'm going to try to do it without giving up the big play. I use a lot of times I'll bring my mics, shoot them up a gap. Some days I'll take a guy that's on our mauling side. I'll take him out, bring in another wall guy, and I'll overload one side. Again, we tailor it to whoever we're playing. Apologize, guys. So again, guys coming off the edge here, I tell my corners we're always inside shoulder because we want to press those guys out of bounds. I love it. Again, I keep using my boy here, but Coach Sophomore said something the other day, and he said, "Bring them to me." And I love that concept. I've never used it, but I'm going to start using it. I'm going to tell my corners, go push them to your teammates. I usually just tell them, hey, make sure he gets out of bounds. Jack is behind her. I always say, get him out the club. Those big bouncers that you see in the club, I always tell them, get them out the club. So, I tell my corners, we turn our butt to the field. So we're focused right on that one gunner. My wall guys, we're standing up or we're down in a 3-point speed stance. We want to dip and rip. We want to grab grass. We want to rush off the edge. We want to stay low, and we want to work on blocking here. So what we do at practice is these guys all rush the punter, and we have 3 coaches back here as punters, and each one of them have to knock the ball off the coach's foot. Like the coach actually punts it, and they have to block it. So because we have 2 coaches back here throwing balls up to simulate a punt. These guys, they will block down on these guys, and I tell these guys to run anywhere they want to run. They don't even have to run for the return man. I tell them run wherever they want to run. I make sure these guys are used to locking on their target and driving them. All right. These 2 guys, they work on setting up the wall. Okay. He works on same thing. He's a mauler. He works on catching the snapper in his stance, jacking him up and driving him. This guy works on dropping with the ball and setting up a fullback block for the return man. This my middle linebacker is technically one of our fullbacks anyway, so he's usually always dropping whatever return I call. He's the lead blocker. All right. So field goal PATs are very simple. I lock my guard and center right away from the jump. Now everyone else can't do that, so we got a tight, almost foot to foot stance. Probably about 6 to 8 inches between our feet, really tight stance, because we want to get a wide base when we step down. So when we step down, we're going to take our inside elbow, we're going to stick it into our partner's side, and we're going to punch out with our outside arm. We're going to create a force field, a line of men in front of our kicker, so he's good to go. All right. So again, our holder, he's about 4.5 yards from the snap. It's nice and tight, so the snapper doesn't have the long distance to get it there. It's nice and tight, nice and quick. Kicker, we tell him 1 foot, 1 step, drive it through. 1 step and drive it through. We work on a fire call, but I'll be honest with you, it usually does not work out if you have a bad snap. But I have that on here as well. So we'll talk about that. This is how we set it up. I'm pretty sure everybody sets it up this way. We're super tight. This is the lines are our fire call. So if we get a fire call here, kicker will do like a swing route. Wing will do a backside 10 and end. Tight end does a drag. This tight end does a 5 or 10 and out, whatever it does to get in the end zone. And this wing just sprints to the back pylon. All right. Field goal block. We set it up. We want to create wedges. We want to create wedges with our D-line and our linebackers. So what we do is I'll put my tackles and all my rushers shoulder to shoulder. They'll rush a gap, and my linebackers literally run right between them. We block a lot of PATs. And really what we're doing is we're just kind of like, a crowbar. We're kind of like a crowbar. We're, when guys are down, we're going to be a double-edged sword. We're going to punch them with 2 people, and that linebacker is going to get skinny, dip, and rip and get right through. Kind of how we set it up. These guys will be shoulder to shoulder. These guys here, we're going to go an inside rush, or we'll do a swinging rush. Well, he'll go outside and then he'll go underneath. You can set up any type of rush that you want to. I teach my kids to rob the foot. A lot of kids are scared to block punts. They're scared to block field goals. Coach, it hurts. You've got to teach them to do it. They've got to be ready to do it, and just not on a Friday night or a Saturday. So we literally, anybody that's in PAT block, punt return, any of those, they learn how to block the ball. We create a diamond with our hands, and we smack the foot. We smack the toe. We tell them, take the diamond, put it right over the toe, smack the ball down. And they get used to it. I tell them it hurts for 2 seconds, and the more and more they do it, the more and more they get comfortable with it. A lot of times I see people on film and their kids are jumping up and they're one hand swatting at it, or they're jumping with their eyes closed and they got their head turned. You want your kids to be conditioned to look their eyes at the foot and knock it down. All right. That's it for the PowerPoint. I do have one thing I want to show you guys real quick. I don't work for them or nothing, but if you're looking for something other than Huddle to put your plays and stuff on, this Coach Me app is free. I put everything on here, my defense, offense, everything. So 2 seconds, I just want to show you guys a couple of things. And this is how I teach my kids. They legitimately get to see this.
Hey, Coach, did you have access to those kickoffs that you were going to show the first?
Yeah, I got them. I'm going to show them in 1 second. Yep. So this is like a kick return. This is generally how it should look. Swinging gate, wheels here.
Are you showing something right now?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't see, can you?
No.
Apologize, guys.
You're good.
All right. Can everybody see me now?
Yep, you're good.
Yep. So again, this is the Coach Me app. My kids get to watch it in real time instead of me just running my mouth or running my trap. They love it that they actually get to see it. Like I legitimately put this on an iPad and I show my kids. That's how the kickoff should look. Punt. This is the rugby punt. This is the rugby punt drawn up. Again, send me your emails, or send Coach Brad your emails, and I can send this stuff to you. They run the routes. Here we go. Boom. Boom. There it is. All right. Let me I apologize, guys. Let me see if I can get these videos to work for you real quick, because I would love to show you guys.
If you can, it's no biggie,
Oh,
Coach.
yep. I'm good now. Can you guys see?
Yep, look good.
Trying. And as you see there, kid knocked the ball right out. So he's my hot guy. See, they're full sprint. I love those two kids. Look, full sprint. Boom, right through the wedge. One took the wall out. The other one, I mean, smoked the kid. Smoked him. This is them again. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, I was ordering lunch earlier. Boom. That's him running down nonstop. Seeking the ball carrier. Angle tackle, working on the angle. Boom, there it is. Doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't get any better than that at all, guys. No better.
That's the kind of guy you want as your MBK, right, Coach?
Oh, 100%. I want somebody that's going to give me 100% what they got, for 30 yards. I tell them, this all is 30 yards. 30 yards. By the time they pick the ball up and look up, you should be on their tail.
I have another question here, Coach.
Yes, sir.
So this coach asks, how do you organize your practices, and how much time do you give in your practice plan for special teams?
Okay. So two-parter. So when I was the head coach, we worked on special teams a ton. So now that I'm not the head coach, I'm just a coordinator. I get what I'm allowed to get. So usually I get 15 to 20 minutes practice, but I utilize all 15, 20 minutes. Like legitimately, those drills that I show you, I can get through 2 special teams every day. And we do them every day. From Monday to Thursday, we do special teams every day. And legitimately, like it's just as hard as it is for inside drill, just as hard as it is for goal line offense. Kids are out there running hard, getting after it. And like I said, I keep it super detailed. All my coaches have a special team mock-up. I send special teams out the night before to tell them exactly what we're going to be doing, because I don't have any time to give. So when they're stretching, I'm setting up cones, I'm setting up pads, we're ready to rock and roll. As soon as they get out of their stretch lines, I blow the whistle, I scream kickoff, and I tell them, give me 10 lines on the orange cones. And they know exactly what's going on. And I don't have to do a whole bunch of detailed talking, because after that first week of camp, it's already ingrained in them that this is what we're going to do every day. All right. So, I don't try to reinvent the wheel. I just make sure we're good at what we do.
So if I remember correctly, Coach, they were kind of like EDDs. They're kind of like your everyday drills when we put them in preseason. And
Yep.
and also, if I remember correctly, when we coached together, almost every special teams probably had a 10 to 15-minute period. Maybe not PAT field goal, but
right. Oh, yeah. 100%. So when we coached together, we did it for at least half hour, 45 minutes every day, because, we needed that. We needed that extra time, because it was new. It was new to those kids. So now I'm at a different school where I did it for 10 years before I became a head coach. So all the coaches know the drills. They know what to expect. All the kids know what to expect. So it's already ingrained in their minds what we're doing. So now it's more or less fine-tuning the machine. I got one more video for you guys. This is the kick return. This is a middle return. Middle return. He finds the lane, cuts right up the lane, he's gone. this is this kid's first time ever return. He never did returns before for us. Never played football in high school. He found the lane. It was open. His guys were blocking for him, but they're still blocking for him, and he was out. Found the crease, took off with it. I mean, it did help too. Also, he's a state champion track guy. So, but that's all I got. If you guys have any more questions, just let me know. I appreciate you guys for being on. I know I get a little long-winded. Like I said, special teams fires me up. I've got a lot more detailed stuff if anybody wants to go further. But I want to at least put some base stuff out there, show you how I kind of like developed a special team scheme that I feel like with limited time gets the most out of your kids. And allows you to use as many kids as possible. One thing I couldn't stand as a head coach and even as a coordinator is kids staying on the sideline. You know, I can't stand it. It drives me insane. It gives me the – but it makes me fired up, makes me snap. But, you know, I just want to keep all the kids active. I want to keep them all active. I want them all to enjoy it. I want them all to want to be there. I want them all to want to be there. But, again, appreciate you guys for staying on. I know I got a little long, but I appreciate it very much.
Well, Coach, I thought that was a fantastic presentation. And again, guys, just a reminder, this has been recorded, and it's going to go on the YouTube channel. So if anytime you want to review it, it'll be there. If you're on the email chain, you can always email me. Unfortunately, we got people still popping on the meeting. We're about to close out. But, you know.
Hey, that's great. That's great to know.
I'm on the email chain, so I'm responding on that. I can shoot you Coach's email. So, but guys, I appreciate you being on tonight, and we'll be back again next Tuesday night with another presentation. So, again, I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you then. All right.
All right. See you.